All right, today is Wednesday, September the 8th. You need to make sure you have a computer out and that you are logged in to ClassLink. You're going to go to Schoology and you are going to click on Wednesday. You're going to click on first 9 weeks. Then you're going to go to Wednesday. Nope, you're going to click on first 9 weeks, week 5, and then you're going to click on Wednesday, September the 8th. Okay, once you click on Wednesday, September the 8th, you should see your assignments listed for today. Okay, I want you to go ahead and click on DGP week 5. Now, when you click on DGP week 5, you should see a rubric in there. If not, it's because I haven't figured out how to transfer it from this course to your course. And I will be working on that to make that happen. Okay, but I want you to look right here. On Monday, you are responsible to have all parts of speech for each word identified correctly. If you have all of it done correctly, you will receive 20 points. If you have 3/4 of it done, you will receive 15 points. If you have half done, it's 10. And if you have a fourth done, it is 5 points. On Tuesday, you must have all components for Tuesday. Or all components for Tuesday must be accounted for. Subject, prepositional phrase, OP, DOs, PAs, indirect objects, PNs, underlining, all that good stuff. All right, if you have it all completed, it is worth 20 points. If you have 3/4, it's 15. If you have half, it is a 10. And if you have all a fourth, it's 5. All right, Wednesday, you have to make sure brackets are present. Type of clauses identified, sentence type, and purpose identified. If you have it all complete, it's 20, 3/4, 15, half 10, and a fourth 5. Thursday, you have to capitalize and punctuate make all the corrections you need to. If you do everything, it's 20, 3/4, 15, half of it's 10, and a fourth is 5. And then on Friday, you have to correctly fill in the diagram with the correct word from the sentence. If you have it all, 20, 3/4, 15, half 10 points, and if you have less than a fourth, you only get 5 points.
Have y'all been working on the diagrams?
This will be the first week.
This will be the first week.
All right, go ahead and open your assignment with Cami. Now, you should have your work from yesterday pulled up, okay? Or it should be complete. And I'll tell you what I really want to do is I want to go to my 4th period real quick. All right, you are supposed to leave yours pulled up where you're at. Okay, so if you were out yesterday, okay, what you are going to need to do is you are going to need to go back in to Tuesday's folder and watch the class video from yesterday. Okay, you're going to need to go back into the class or into Tuesday's folder and watch the class video. Okay, and I will walk you through and show you exactly how to answer Monday and Tuesday's DGP. All right, so you are responsible for Monday and for Tuesday. Okay, all right, today is Wednesday. All right, so we have to identify our clauses. All right, and I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. The first question is going to be, I'm going to tell you this first. Yesterday, I put a semicolon in between the words boat and something. Can anybody in here tell me why I put a semicolon between boat and something? Savannah. It separates the two clauses, okay? Now, we do have 2 separate clauses, and we have to determine if those clauses are independent or dependent, okay? Now, in order to do that, I want you to ask yourself this question. Does this clause have a subject? Okay, yes. Does this clause have a verb? Does this clause express a complete thought? This is on Wednesday, okay? All right. Does this clause have a subject? Does this clause have a verb? And does this clause express a complete thought? Now, we have how many clauses here? 2. Okay, so we've got to do clause 1 and clause 2. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to click on this markup button. Okay, on the left-hand side, there is a markup button where it looks like there's a box or a board with a pen. Okay, if you click on that, you're going to have the option to text highlight, freehand highlight, or box highlight. Okay, click on whichever one you want to. The freehand highlighter might be actually the easiest to work. Okay, I want you to highlight the subject in the first clause. Highlight your subject in the first clause. All right, what would be the subject in my clause here? That. Okay. All right, now I'm going to change my color and I want to highlight my verb. All right, I want to change my color and highlight my verb. What is the verb in this sentence? Is. What kind of verb is? A intransitive linking verb. Good. All right.
How do you know it's not a transitive verb now?
Because there's no direct object.
Exactly.
Oh, can you tell a difference?
Yes.
Okay. Now, does this clause express a complete subject, a complete thought?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So we can officially answer yes to all 3 of these questions. And being we can answer yes to all 3 of these questions, what kind of clause do we have?
INDC.
Good. All right. We have an independent clause. All right. Now I want to move on to the second clause. Okay. Something must be wrong with it. I want you to go back to your highlighter or to your markup. Okay. We're going to highlight our subject. What is the subject of this clause? Something. Very good. Now, we have a verb phrase.
And a phrase means what? More than one word. Okay.
All right, so what is our verb phrase in the second clause? Good. All right. Now, I'm going to go back to my T for text box, okay? Does this clause have a subject? Does this clause have a verb?
Yes, ma'am.
Does this clause express a complete thought?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so what kind of clause do I have?
An independent clause.
An independent clause. All right, now I have an independent clause combined with a semicolon and another independent clause. What type of sentence do I have?
Compound.
Good. Compound.
Compound.
2 equal clauses would be compound. Unequal clauses, like one independent and one dependent, would be complex.
Flex. All right, now, what is the purpose of this sentence? Declarative. It is to make a statement, okay? Now, I want to quickly go back and address something else real quick, okay? The overall answer to this is independent clause, compound sentence, declarative. All right? This semicolon right here, there is another way that I can correctly write and punctuate a compound sentence. Can anybody in here tell me what it is that I would need to do to make that happen? Chandler.
Comma conjunction.
Good. A comma and a conjunction. Okay, so what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to write comma so. All right. For this particular sentence, comma so or comma but would work best. Okay. Now, I only have to do one or the other. I don't have to do both. Okay. Let me ask you if you know what this right here is. If you were to take out the first two options and just put a comma, is this grammatically and mechanically correct?
Yes. No. Wait, huh? No, ma'am.
If you try to join those two independent clauses with just a comma, can't do it.
All right. This you cannot do.
Not correctly.
Okay. And this is what I want you to do this on your paper, just like I'm doing on mine. All right. I'm going to put an X over it. All right. Because what this means is that this is a comma splice.
You want us to type it?
I want you to type it.
So put an X, comma.
Yes.
Y'all remember Mr. Sellers that used to be the principal over at the elementary school a few years ago? He came down to my room one day and he said, "What is a comma splice?" And I said, "Well, it's when you try to join two independent clauses with just a comma." He said, "So you can't do that?" I said, "No, you can't do that." I said, "You either have to have a comma conjunction or a semicolon, or you have to put a period and make two complete, two separate sentences out of it." He said, "I remember when I went to Wallace College and I took my first English class, my first paper I got back looked like somebody had cut themselves and bled all over the paper. There were so many red marks." And he said most of them said comma splice. And he said, "I didn't even know what a comma splice was." And I said, "Well, I don't think you did when you came in here a while ago either." You can't do that. But see, that's where you've got to know that you've got two independent clauses. People try to stick commas everywhere. Everywhere.
And you just can't do it. All right. So I wrote in up here, you cannot combine two independent clauses with just a comma. Okay. You cannot combine two independent clauses with just a comma. Now, I cannot stress enough that if you were not seated in this classroom yesterday, it is your responsibility to go home and watch the video and do your work for Monday and Tuesday. Okay?
Listen, she gave you these marking guides yesterday, she told me.
Oh, and if you weren't here, then you need to get a copy of that.
Anybody not here yesterday? Here they are right here.
I left mine in here because I thought that we weren't supposed to.
Yeah, me too.
There's, yeah.
I've
Well,
got
I
some
need
up
it.
here if you need one. Yes. And listen, while you're getting these, I want to show you something. Mhm. You know what? I don't know how much you have really studied this right here. Huh? What you come up here for?
I need some new definitions. I thought we were supposed to turn definitions.
Oh, y'all were supposed to turn them in. You were. You're gonna get them back, right, today?
Mm-hmm.
You'll get them back today.
Yes.
Y'all, look here. I want to show you something. Now, I know that these are in your notebook, except for the ones who just got them. But on Tuesday, I want to point something out on Tuesday and Wednesday. Down at the bottom of the second page on Monday, it says verb shows action or state of being. and then it says linking, and it tells what that is. But listen here. Flip on over to Tuesday. On the bottom of the first page, it says compliment. Now, that is not like somebody tells you look cute today. That is COMPLI. There are 4 compliments. 2 of them come after linking verbs. 2 compliments come after linking verbs, and 2 compliments come after action verbs. When you have listen, I used to tell my kids, when you see an action verb, some little, radars need to go off. You got to ask whom or what to see if you've got a direct object. Direct object. Every time you have a linking verb, you need to have some more little radars that go off, and you need to look for a word in the predicate that either goes back to describe the subject. What describes that? Boat. Boat. Is a boat an adjective or a noun?
Noun.
So that is a predicate.
Adjective.
No, it can't be an adjective if it's a noun. Predicate.
Why do you keep calling it boat? It's
Nominative.
Huh?
It's a boot, not boat.
That's boat.
Is that
It says BA.
That's barely an adjective.
Look here. A boot does not make noise.
A predicate noun.
It's a predicate noun, also called, Mason, sometimes a predicate nominative. But look here. That is boat. That is a predicate nominative. I want you to make that connection with the verbs and the complements. When you have action verbs, you better stop and ask whom or what to see if you've got a direct object. If you've got a direct object, then you know to put the what? The VT. If it's a linking verb, it's always going to be VI, intransitive. Okay. All right, make that connection. All right.
Are we good?
I'm doing.
Okay. I'm going to when you finish with this, you can exit out. You do not have to submit this. You will open it up tomorrow in Thursday's folder. All right. And then we will finish it and we will submit it on Friday. Okay. The next thing that I need for you to do is to go back to Wednesday or first 9 weeks, week 5, and go to Wednesday, September the 8th. All right, you're going to click on Wordly Wise Lesson 2 Vocabulary. And I think it might have been, I did the most endless in first period. Let me go back to my other class because I did a lot more. Oh, perfect. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I've been sitting down too long.
All right, I want you to open up Wordly Wise Lesson 2 Vocabulary. All right, Wordly Wise Lesson 2 Vocabulary. You need to make sure that you read the rubric, okay? In order to receive the full amount of credit, you have to make sure that all words are listed. Now, all the words are going to be listed for you except for number 1 where there is a problem, and you need to mark out the word arid and replace it with the word abrasion, okay? You have to make sure that each part of speech is accounted for and written beside each word. If your word has multiple definitions, all right, you have to write multiple meanings beside each word. Various forms of the word and definition must be included. And then this is the most important part of your rubric right here. The sentence for each word. All right, a complete sentence is written and the vocabulary word is incorporated. In order for you to receive the full 15 points for this part, you must write a compound complex sentence for each word. Okay? If you want to receive at least 10 points for them, you have to do a complex sentence or a compound sentence. Okay? If you want to get just the bare minimum, you have to write a simple sentence and you're only going to get 5 points. Now, I'm going to tell you, you are not allowed to do the minimum. Okay? You have to shoot for or aim for a 15 or a 10. All right, you have to shoot for or aim for a 15 or a 10. Okay? If you were to write run-on sentences or fragments, then you're going to be docked and you're only going to receive 1 point for those sentences. Okay? Because they're not sentences. Go ahead and open your assignment with Cammie. And Miss Susan is coming around, or Grandma Wheelis is coming around with the word list. Ella. Okay, just hold on a second. Just hold on to it, Sean. All right, what I need for you to do is go ahead and write your name on this paper, or type your name on this paper. The date is going to be 9/7 to 9/8/21. I put yesterday and today's date because we technically started yesterday. We might not have gotten all the way started in here.
We did. We started in like the last 5 minutes.
Okay, all right, you are in 5th block. Now, I need for you to get to know this toolbar on the left-hand side in black and white. Okay? This is your cursor, or what you're going to do to select things. A dictionary, text to speech. We're not going to utilize this part. Okay? Markup. You are going to actively utilize the markup button. This is how you highlight things, or how you strike through something, or how you underline something. Okay? We're not going to do comment right now. Text box, you're going to use that a lot. We're not going to do equations. You may have to use the drawing. Shapes, you will use. An eraser, you might have to use. Okay? So what I want you to do right now is arid needs to be marked out because the word is abrasion. Okay? So you're going to click on this markup button. And you're going to go ahead and you're going to click the strike through. And then you're going to take your cursor and you're just going to drag it over the word arid. And when you do that, it marks a line through the word.
Now, what is this in? Schoology?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. And then up above arid, you're going to type in the word, or type the word abrasion. You are going to type the word abrasion. Okay? Now, the word abrasion has 2 different meanings and then a different form. And that different form has 2 meanings. So you're looking at 2 parts of speech and 4 total meanings. Okay? The first one, the first part of speech, abrasion is a noun and it means a wearing away or rubbing away by friction, a scraped or worn area. All right, and then you have the different form, abrasive, and it is an adjective, which means causing wear by rubbing, harsh or rough in manner, irritating. Okay? Now, I gave you an example of a sentence of a compound complex sentence, okay? When my husband was in school, comma, when my husband was in school, can somebody tell me what type of clause this is right here? Dependent. Okay, so I'm going to highlight my dependent clauses. All right, this is a dependent clause. Okay, now he rode with a friend to the football field. Is that dependent or independent?
Independent.
Independent. So,
So
I'm going
what
to
do you have right there?
A complex.
A
a complex
sentence.
sentence. Good.
Okay.
All right. Now, he slipped out of the back of the truck because the bed had been oiled. He slipped out of the back of the truck is what kind of sentence? No.
No, it's a
Independent.
Independent.
Mhm.
All right. And that is because I used a semicolon here. All right. Now, because the bed had been oiled.
So that's just two complex sentences, isn't
It is. I wrote two complex
Sure
sentences.
did, and I didn't notice it.
Okay.
He slipped out of the back of the truck.
because he had been.
No, because using that because right there, that is a subordinating conjunction, meaning it's beginning a subordinate clause. What is a subordinate clause? That is another word for what?
Dependent.
Dependent. Very good.
All right.
We gotta make that green part over there. Let's see. Oh, wait, he
It's
slipped out
still-
of the back of the truck.
So what you're saying is you should.
We could have just said he slipped out of the back of the truck
Because
and he ended up with abrasions.
Like, I might have done a little bit more than is required, but I met the requirements and made you understand what really happened. Okay? The point is you've got to write in more than a simple sentence. That's really what I'm wanting you to do. You don't have to highlight it. The only reason I'm highlighting it now is so that you can see that all the requirements for my sentence are there. Okay? If you were to highlight your on, that is a way for you to verify that you have met the requirements. All right? If you look at number 2, it says clad. It's an adjective and it's clothed or covered. Okay? I have some all-clad dishes at home, comma, and I absolutely love to cook with them when I have time. All right, I have 2 independent clauses combined with a dependent clause. All right, I have some all-clad dishes has a subject, which is I. Have is my verb, and it expresses the complete thought. Okay, then I have a comma and a coordinating conjunction. I is my subject of the second clause. Love is my verb. Okay, and what I love to do is cook. It expresses a complete thought. That is an independent clause. Now, when I have time, my subject is I. My verb is have. Does this phrase express a complete thought? No. When I
have time.
It
You
does.
can't put a period on that and make that a sentence.
It does not express a complete thought.
It's a fragment.
Well, no, it's a dependent clause.
It's a
It
dependent.
needs something else to be a full sentence. When I have now, let me say this. If she put that dependent clause when I have time in front of the independent clause, what would it say? When I have time, I absolutely love cooking with him. You know what? You would not need any punctuation mark there.
Yeah.
I'm so confused right
I
now.
have a question.
What are you confused about, Chandler?
Y'all are
Maybe we just need to hush and let you. We're talking too much about the.
Next, okay, so next time, could you give us a blank piece of paper and let us put the words so we have space?
I will do more space the next time. I've heard the complaints and I will make it better. I promise. Okay? If y'all can just get it done with what we have this go around. We'll be fine. It can be done though because I did it. All right, it can be done. Like I did it
So it's the
myself.
computer you're struggling with more so than what to do, right?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
just want to figure out
You know what to do, but you don't know quite how to get it on the. Okay, that would be my concern too because I'm not very computer savvy.
All right, I need for you to get as much of this done today as you can. Okay, you need to get as much of this done today as you can.
So part of it is mindless. You just copy the stuff, but you're gonna have to put on your thinking cap for that sentence thing.
What test are you having on Friday?
It's DGP and
DGP vocabulary.
vocabulary test.
Oh my God.
This test is
DGP and the writing process and the 6 traits of writing. All right, DGP, the writing process, and the 6 traits of writing. So I'm going to give you a study guide tomorrow on that so that you can make sure that you are up to date on what it's going to cover. Okay, but you might be asked questions like, list the 6 traits to writing, list the 5 stages of the writing process. What do you do during pre-writing? What does the word draft mean? What do you do in the proofreading stage? Okay, questions like that. What type of grammar do you use when writing formally?
correct. Old and boring.
Proper grammar, okay? Do not write as you text. It's going to be stuff like that, just basic fundamentals of writing, okay? And it's all stuff that we have talked about and that you have actually done through your discussion board postings. You will have a DGP test on Friday as well that will count as a major test grade, okay? So you need to I would go ahead and start studying your notes. All right, and I'm going to end the video here. Okay, right now we're just doing vocabulary, your DGP, and studying for test.